volume for us to just be bystanders.
All right, guys, we're ready to get started. And first off, I wanted to, I pretty much know all of you. There's a few new faces, so for the folks I've met for the first time today, thanks for coming. Some of the people I met in person for the first time, thanks for coming. We're really excited to have you here today. And this, of course, is our corporate office. As you know, this is our No Limits Theater, which I'm absolutely in love with that name because I'm sort of a big vision kind of a guy, so I love that name. Wanted to start off by thanking Dustin Payne. He's our sponsor today. He's a good friend of mine and business partner of mine, and I know many of you work with Dustin. I would highly encourage, if you're not, to connect with him. He'll reach out to you. He's literally the best in the business at explaining coverage, getting the right coverage, getting the right deal for the client. He's a farmer's insurance agent. He's number 3 in the state. Is that what it is? Number 2 now? You're number 2? All right. So he's moving on up in the world, and I'll bring up Paul
All I
here.
think about is the anchor man, where he's like, how are you, number 2? I got to get to number 1.
All right, cool, man. All right, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask you to indulge me for about 3 minutes because I wanted to share some exciting news with you today. And Dustin, could you change that slide over? Just so some of you that meet me for the first time, just a little bit about me. First of all, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, literally since I've been a little kid. I've built multiple businesses. Those are mostly in California. This is the business I built here in Texas. I have a background as a CEO of, these are privately held companies. And I've been in financial services for over 25 years, financial and legal really, but they were all focused around financial services. And I'm a certified mortgage planner. So that's a little bit about me. I've been with Service First 5 years. I will never leave this company. Sean knows this. Unless Sean messes something up or my branch messes something up, I'll never leave. This is an extraordinarily well-run company. And just feel blessed to have found these guys when I moved to Texas. Let's go to the next one. All right, cool. So guys, I wanted to share with you my vision. And many of you have heard bits and pieces of this, but I want to share in a more succinct way what we're trying to do. So I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. We inspire our clients to take the journey to financial freedom. We empower them through education, innovation, and our relationships to reach it. We change lives. That's my vision for my team. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. That's what we want to help your clients do. And I want to show you guys real quick the 4 ways we're going to do that. So let's go to the next slide. First, with our clients, we are going to give them we're unwavering in our commitment to provide the finest personal services and advice, the highest level that possible to provide. We build strong relationships that last for life. We give our clients the support, tools, and strategies, and professional introductions they need to enjoy their journey and reach the destination. Next slide. Next way we're going to do that is with our agents. We want to be your resource to be a profitable and reliable source of the best products, finest service, training tools, and support to help you guys achieve your dreams. Next slide. Third is my team. Right now, I've completely revamped my business. I'm building a team. I'll still be involved. I'll still be the guy in charge and all that kind of thing. But we're recruiting, training, and building and supporting the very finest loan officers of tomorrow today. I've got my first one starting on Monday. It's going to be an extraordinary journey for him. I'm always going to be looking for talent, by the way, as we build this team. And each team member shares this vision, and I can tell you they will work relentlessly to carry it out. And then the last, our partners. Constantly adding financial and other partners that can offer services and solutions that are in harmony with our vision and share our unwavering commitment to the finest level of personal service. That means things like bi-monthly mortgage plan, insurance, financial services. It could be a handyman. It could be an air conditioning guy. We're going to look to constantly partner up with people that can help change our clients' lives. So what you guys are going to see, and a couple of quick examples. First off, we're only going to do, as you all know, I've done masterminds, I do lunch and learns, but going into this year, I decided, you know what? I really want to up this and become a different kind of a team, a different kind of a lender, a different kind of approach. And so for my agents, when we do a lunch and learn, it's going to be so powerful. It's something that you want to miss a meeting with your broker, Kevin. You just want to say, Lori, I'm busy. I don't want to come today because Todd's got this lunch and learn going on. It's going to be that powerful. Because let me tell you, working with agents, what I see all the time is if there's a thing that your brokers all need, it's called retention, right? So one of their strategies for retention is to throw what at you? Training, and training, and meetings, and training. And to me, it's too much. It's too much. You need the right kind of meetings, the right kind. It's not that you don't need any, okay? But when we bring a speaker in, it's going to be someone that has a material impact that you can use in your business today. So that means we've got some other ones coming up, I'll announce, not now, but I'll email them out to everybody for all the way through June. I think we're going to take off July and August because you're all going to be busy selling houses, right? So we're not even going to bother with July and August this year. We're just going to take a break. But it will be spectacular. And last but not least, just want to say Service First Mortgage was founded by Sean Broussard. He's a loan officer at heart. He was a loan officer that Lori Arnold, right, over at Caldwell Banker Apex, got together and said, hey, why don't you form your own mortgage bank? Why did they do that? They wanted something different. So at Service First, we care about your relationships. We care that we close on time. We care about your reputation. We care about your business. You matter at a level that I've never seen at any other mortgage company. In this next 12 months, you're going to see some extraordinary things happening for me that you guys are going to love. From the way pre-approvals are presented, to the way that we're communicating now. And I know we do a pretty good job now. What's coming is going to blow you away. So that being said, I wanted to bring up Paul Thompson. Paul's been an appraiser for what, 32 years, Paul? 32 years. And if you could all give him a round of applause, he's going to share and give back today.
Real quick, Paul, before you get started, you guys have trash. Let me grab that from you. That way you're not having to worry about being all crowded up. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, you're fine. I'm not sure about being powerful. Todd's powerful, I'm not. I'm just an appraiser. Pass it along.
And this is different?
Yeah, they're two different pages. Yeah, I'm Paul Thompson. I've been appraising for 32 years. I'm a general certified appraiser and grew up in the business. I'm a second generation appraiser. So been around it all my life. Live in Coppell, have 2 kids. Just do this to make a living. Todd asked me to touch on a couple of things. I'm just going to get right to it. We are all having value problems, and that's just kind of why you're here, I'm sure. So I'm going to talk to you about how you can help me help you and hopefully eliminate some of these problems. There are a couple of agents out there that do this really, really well. One of them is a guy named Kurt Bueller up in Flower Mound. He's a Keller Williams agent. Probably just one of the best in the world. When I go to appraise one of his listings, someone from his office meets me with a packet. In that packet are comps, every detail about that house, details about any multiple offers they've had. It is so full of information. It has personal notes on there about the comps and showed this house, had green shag carpet in 3 bedrooms and yellow paint in 2 and whatever. Those are the kinds of things that you can do to help me. Getting that information to the appraiser as early in the process as possible just helps us do a little better job for you. Trying to think. Not that well prepared.
Could you speak, because I was at one of Kurt's listing presentations this past week. Can you speak to what is a bracketed, he mentioned?
Bracketing, yes, good. See, I rely on y'all to ask questions. The comps that you use, I know when you go out to do a listing, you select comps and look at the price per square foot is how y'all look at it. That's not how we look at it always. But bracketing means you want to use a sale that's a little smaller, that sold for a little less, one that's a little larger, that sold for a little more, and hopefully you'll have one somewhere in the middle that's about the same. By doing that, you're coming at the property from both sides, high and low, to see where it fits in the marketplace. I see a lot of market analysis done by agents where you have the 2,500 square foot house and all of the sales that they're using are 1,500 square foot houses that show a real high price per foot. All other things being equal, your price per foot is lower on the larger house. And they take that 1,500 square foot price per foot, apply it to 2,500 square feet, and we're wrong. It's just wrong. That's where, and I've got a situation right now. House is 1,800 square feet. The biggest comp that the agent uses is 1,200 square feet, and they don't understand why it doesn't work out. That works. Taking that approach works if your comps are the exact same size. That price per foot includes everything from that swimming pool, the third car garage, the granite countertops. And if everything about that cell is not identical to your house, then that price per foot is irrelevant, really. So what we do, the accepted method, is you know that part of that price per foot is due to the difference in size, or part of it's strictly the house. So we do a paired sales analysis to extract what that additional square footage impacts the price, how much it will impact the price. There's no magic number for that I can pull out of the air, because it varies from one neighborhood to the next and house to house. But it's usually going to be anywhere from $20 to $100 a square foot, depending on the neighborhood. So that's how we approach it. But if, the thing that I kind of got started on, my biggest frustration right now is if the value comes in less than the contract price, the next email I get is really nasty. And that's an appraiser friend of mine.
He's probably struggling.
He is. I promise he is. And it usually starts off, I kid you not, Melissa will verify this. I had one that started off with, the appraiser was so stupid that. Guys, come on, really. But it went on to explain how there were 12 offers on the property in 3 days. Don't wait until after the fact to tell me that. Put that, when the appraisal gets scheduled, when the appointment's made. It either goes through CSS or we have to call you directly. You've got our email address because it's in the roster in MLS. Email us information. I know a lot of appraisers don't want you calling them, don't want to talk to you. They'll hang up the phone on you. I think they're kind of jerks, but they will. Be non-confrontational. Just email it to them. They can hit delete if they don't want to. But get your 2 cents in up front. If you have multiple offers, send me those offers. I know you may have an office policy on that, but I need those offers if I'm going to consider them.
Is front page okay?
With the names whited out?
If you want to white out the names, that's fine. I don't care about the parties. I need to know who the other agent was, though, because I'll pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, did y'all really make this offer?
Can we send you the
so you
first
really
page
want-
and the receipt page? That way you have their contact.
That,
info.
yeah, and I'll ask them if there's anything, special provisions or,
Surely
Yeah.
agents aren't making up stuff.
well,
Well, how does that affect the current appraiser, though?
Yeah.
Appraisal?
well, what it does, I've got a great example of this. There's a house in Coppell, it was listed for $395. Within 2 days, they had 7 offers, and the highest one was $420. Well, the fact that many people wanted that house and were willing to pay $420, and of those 7 offers, I think 4 of them were at $420. The one they chose, the one they went with was a timing issue. So you had lots of people who were willing to pay the $420. One of those people went down the street and wrote a contract on a house that went up for sale the day after the first one, $420. Those agents were working together and made sure I had all that information. It got me to $420 because it tells me the trend in the neighborhood. It tells us what's going on.
Oh, okay.
So all of that is, the more information we have, the better off we are. But getting that information up front before we even get out to the house is really critical. Because we start doing research before we get out there. That helps us know what's going on in the neighborhood. And if an agent will just send that in an email, whatever they know, I'm thrilled to get it. I mean, I really am. Like I said, I know some appraisers just don't want to hear it. I think they're being a little short-sighted, personally. I mean, that's just my opinion. Who knows more about what is happening exactly right now than you who've been out there showing those houses? I don't get to go on the showings. I don't hear what buyers are saying to you. So I need to hear what you're hearing. I need you to tell me the truth. But, you joke. Seriously? Yeah, seriously. It happens. That's the kind of thing that is just really valuable. Other things that help us, I can walk in a house, I know it has wood floor and granite countertops, stainless appliances, I know all of that. But if that air conditioner was replaced last week, let me know, or the roof, or the water heater. Things like that are really useful to us. Tells us about the maintenance and the condition. The decorating part, like I said, we all can see that. But that other stuff's really good to know. Pool equipment was just replaced or pool replastered. Anything that's not a real obvious, where it's hard to tell for sure how old it is, that's really, really useful. Anything else about the house, just anything special, any kind of feedback you've got is really good to get.
If the house has like a full service warranty, like a service contract, is that helpful? Because it's not going to be deferred maintenance, or?
Not really.
Okay.
And most of them anymore do. I mean, you don't sell many without a warranty these days, so most of them have it.
How far out can you go on the property radius? If there's nothing else within the subdivision?
Ideally, you stay inside the subdivision. And I run into this a lot, and I had this happen over in Rowlett the other day. We had lots of sales inside the subdivision, and the agent says to me, well, we had to go to another neighborhood to find something high enough to support this.
Oh, no.
Well, you
We
just
can all do that.
Okay, we're talking about this because
Because it was it because of square footage, or because that one was much larger than one?
they had just priced it really
Too high
high.
and tried to
They
justify
just-
it.
And they were trying to justify. So, first of all, you stay in your subdivision. You can go up to a mile is pretty easy to do. 2 miles is the guideline. You go over a mile, the eyebrows start going up, but you can go to 2 miles. You need to talk about it. Down in I do quite a bit down in Burleson. Acreage properties, you'll go 3, 4, and 5 miles. But it's that kind of a neighborhood. Okay, go ahead.
I really sell just like farms and ranches. rural.
Right.
So some of them are like from 100 acres to 1,000.
It can be 10, 15, 20 miles.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Now, if I can't find anything 10, 15, 20 miles, how far years can I go back?
Yeah, that was the question.
Okay.
Date, can we
Right,
go
the
back a
date.
year?
Did we finish? Did you get what you wanted?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm back to that.
Okay. How far do you want me to go back? Now, you're kind of in a different situation, so I'm addressing kind of the
Okay.
in-town, the suburban resident. How far do you want me to go back?
A year, maybe?
Do you really?
As far as you need to.
Well, it may be.
In this
because the
market?
because the inventory
In
is
this
so low.
market?
Yeah, you want us to
You
update
probably
it.
don't want me to go back more than 3 or 4 months.
We don't
But if
want
there's,
you to.
but
Finding-
if there's
finding
nothing,
them.
if there's nothing there.
Yeah. Okay, the guideline is 6 months. You can go to a year. Okay, that's kind of the easy answer. You can go up to a year. Fannie Mae will accept up to a year. But the fact of the matter is, if you're in this market, in our area, if you're going back more than 6 months, there's something else going on because you're probably seeing a little bit of appreciation. So why would you want to go further back?
Well, if you go further back and then if we could prove that there's 10 to 12% year-over-year price increase,
Yeah.
then that could
I
possibly
see what,
justify.
I kind of see what you're saying.
Method to the madness.
And I've done this, like I said, for 32 years. And there was a time when you could do it that way and underwriters would take it. They won't take it right now. Fannie Mae won't take it. You can prove that price increase all day long. And they look at any kind of positive time adjustment with a jaundiced eye. It's just kind of hard to. So you try to stay, ideally they'd like for us to stay within 90 days. So we tried. Farm and ranch is just such a different world. I mean, that, you may go back 2 or 3 years to find something. And hopefully you've got enough to kind of recognize a trend. And in the type of appraisal that would be done for that, you're not looking at a Fannie Mae 1004 form. So you have room and the ability to do some different things as far as time adjustments and that sort of thing. So it could be done a little easier. You know, we use that form, it's what we have to use, and it really puts us in a box on a lot of stuff. So we have to comply with Fannie Mae guidelines. And once you go past a year, they just kind of throw it out.
So, okay, so if I can't go back past 90 days, there's nothing that's sold in the subdivision since July.
Right. Right.
Square footage, I mean,
Okay.
there's, I can't even price it with the actives, because there are no actives.
Right.
Where do you go to get value?
Where would you take a buyer that wants to buy that house if they couldn't have that one? Where would you go?
Wouldn't, I mean, they just have to wait in line
They
until
just have to
something-
wait.
Or-
There's no other house out there in another neighborhood that would be,
Not going to the same elementary school, now we're going
Yeah.
out,
yeah.
possibly to the same high school, but
Yeah.
I'm going more than 2 miles out, probably.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to, you have to. What part of town are you?
This one's
Thank
over,
you.
I was helping somebody with one, it was over in Fort Worth.
Hmm.
2007 build, so it was
Yeah.
a newer house.
I mean, as an appraiser, if I can't find something right in the neighborhood that's a real similar match, it's rare that you find a neighborhood that doesn't have at least something that happened.
In the last 90 days.
But if you have to go out, then you look for what you call a reasonable substitute. What would you show a buyer looking at that same house? And so that's what we're looking for. The school thing, it's hard to prove if a school makes a real difference. And I know in some of the neighborhoods it does. You know, which elementary or which middle school can make a difference. I live in Coppell and it matters. But it's usually kind of hard to prove too, because that can be a personal preference thing.
Is there somewhere I can go look to see what y'all add value for as far as like a swimming pool? And is there anywhere I can, or granite, other than old appraisals?
Swim pool's
Yeah.
25K, just put it on there and bid it.
You,
Kidding.
this is kind of a smart aleck answer,
Yeah, no.
but ask your other agents in your office. Y'all are the ones talking to buyers. You know what buyers say is important. I'm trying to reflect that. That's why I need to talk to y'all some. So what matters, it changes from one neighborhood to the next over time. I can remember the day when we adjusted $150 up for every single ceiling fan that was in the house. That was 25 years ago. But now, how many ceiling fans, does it really matter? So, but there was a day, or if you had a microwave, or listen, when I first started, if you had double pane windows, that mattered. So,
But there's
there's no real
it's just a
list.
wag and you go, oh, that's a nice pool, I'm gonna give it that.
No,
Okay,
no,
I'll give you a Smurley answer back, sorry.
no, that's okay. I love it. I love it. I did one of these down in Burleson. I had this kind of crusty fellow that wanted to argue everything, and it was great because it got everything out. So, Firelight, it's good.
You can call me crusty.
You just call me-
I didn't call you crusty, not yet.
You're going on my list. What's your email? I'm sending you one right now.
The appraiser was so stupid that. Yeah. So you're looking for how much does it add?
Right, just.
Okay. There's no magic answer that applies to every situation. So what our job is to do is look at, once again, you've heard this before, paired sales. You find two houses that are similar to each other in every other respect,
See what the difference
and you
is.
look to see what the difference is. And that can really vary. My best example is it was 20 years ago, $40,000, 800 square foot frame house in Irving, Texas, that had a $50,000 swimming pool in the backyard. Added zero to it, not one red cent, because if all you can buy is an 800 square foot house, you don't need to pay for maintaining the pool. Yeah, you go to Frisco, and there's a $75,000 pool in the backyard,
And
and
it's
a $1 million house, and it may add $75,000. So it really does. The more common or more typical it is in your neighborhood, the more you're going to get out of it. I've repeated it over and over. I live in Coppell. I looked up one day and realized I was one of two houses on my street without a swimming pool. I've been in the pool. I hate the thing. I would love to fill it in. But I know if I ever want to sell the house, you gotta have a pool. And you know those neighborhoods. If you don't have a pool, you can't give it.
And I guess I'm curious,
If
you could explain that
Yeah,
to me,
sure.
how that's done, and
Sure.
would you ever turn down an appraisal because you don't know the area?
Okay. Yes and yes. It's done, they're really done basically the same with some minor differences. All appraisals, loan officers are no longer allowed to have any influence, say, or any influence at all over who the appraiser is. They cannot choose.
Whether it's a bank or?
Whether it's a bank or mortgage company, it's all the same.
Okay.
The lenders like Service First set up a, what they call an appraisal management company, which is technically a separate company. And that's all they do. They get orders in, they look through, and they assign them to an appraiser. They use a rotating list. So there's nobody back there going, oh, let's give this one to so-and-so, let's give this one to so. It's just next up in line. Some lenders do that without setting up an appraisal management company. They have an appraisal department that kind of functions the same sort of way, and they'll do the same thing. I know one lender who kind of cherry picks their appraisers, but that's just how they do it. They think they can justify it. Other lenders will send everything to a third-party appraisal management company, something like Mercury or LenderX or Solidify. Companies like Solidify are a total management company, and they underwrite the appraisal. They do everything start to finish, and the lender never sees any of it. So, and whether it's a mortgage company or a bank, any of them could use any one of those type situations. Opinion, I think that lenders who manage a lot of that on their own and pay attention to who the appraisers are, do a little better job. Because they can, you go to a big national appraisal management company, and I get these emails every day. They assign their appraisals by an email blast, and the first person to respond gets it. And you respond with a fee and a turn time. So the very inexperienced appraiser who has nothing else to do, who can turn it in 2 days for $150. I mean, I'm sorry.
Beware.
Go and get what you pay for.
Todd, can you tell us who
Yeah.
does that?
Well, you know what, I'd like to just interject just real quick, because that was great information, Paul. And what we did is, what triggered that was HVCC. And you guys all know what that is, or probably heard of it. And it was sort of sad because the 95% of us that were ethical and you know, where I could have just said, hey, Paul, you know, I had appraisers I worked with over the years that there was never an ethical breach. Now, in a refi, I might call and say, hey, give me an idea, but you know, but that's, I think that's fair. You know what I mean? Is it sort of in the ballpark? But I never, you know, it was okay. But when that went away, one of the innovations we did here is we looked at everything. We knew that having our own company, so to speak, that's affiliated. We then recruited all the appraisers that we already work with. Then we sort of weeded out the good from the bad and tried to pay them more. I don't know if you're about part of it. That's part of the deal, is to pay them more, right? Is to give them a better fee so we had better quality. And I do believe, and in fact, I'm almost certain about this, it's not just a rotation list, but it's also somewhat geographical assignment.
It is geographic.
Yeah,
And
so
that gets to your next question. Yes, I have turned them down if I don't know the area. And now I'm going to be ugly. I wish some agents would turn down listings in areas they don't know very well. You know, you probably run into it too. You like, really? What were you thinking? But yes, and I've turned them down. I turn them down kind of frequently if I don't know.
Is there an actual limit in how far out you can go?
No, because it's called geographic competence. So all you have to state is that you know that neighborhood. I happen to do, I live up here. I inherited a house in Granbury, Texas. I spent my entire life sharing time between Irving and Granbury. I do Granbury. I appraise in Granbury. I go down there nearly once a week. So I'm geographically competent. It's 60 miles away. So it's not a radius, it's what neighborhoods, areas do you know. And because of that, I get to do a lot of lake properties, other places, because I know about lake
I need
properties
your
and
card.
what matters.
I have something coming up in Granbury.
Okay.
Is there still a percent per year, comparing apples to apples, that you can add or subtract value from a property? In other words, let's say 2 homes could be the same floor plan, same square footage, whatever, but they're 6 years in difference in age. Can you change your opinion of value based on 0.5% per year, 1% per year?
Maybe. It depends. Is that older house updated to where it's actually nicer than that newer house?
Let's just say compare apples to
Apples
apples.
to apples.
They have each the same.
You would probably make a small adjustment. For 6 years, it'd be a pretty small adjustment, but you could. If you could prove.
One last question, it's a sticky point, simply because we have our inventory is so small. And it is very real that you can go into neighborhoods where you've got to go outside the neighborhood. That's what prompted my question before, to try to find something and how far you can go. Why is it we cannot use in that subdivision, based on how you would make adjustments in your opinion of value anyway for so many other things, you can't use a new home and price out or add to one of the
Using new
others.
construction?
Yes,
Okay.
that's already been finished,
Yeah.
it's already got
Man,
recorded
oh
sales.
man, I've had this conversation a million times.
You're gonna have it a million and
Yeah.
one right now.
Yeah. They're two different markets. They're just two different markets. You've got a buyer, they want a house, they either want a new house or they want an existing house. Now, the existing house guy may say, well, I'd take a new one, but the new house guy, is he willing to take that existing? Maybe. Sometimes. It's a different market, different kind of buyer. If he has to take the existing, they're going to discount.
But is that actually in the USPAP guidelines and?
No, no, that's just the reality of the market. You know, the USPAP guideline is to reflect what the market is. What the market is, that new home buyer is going to discount that existing house because they can't get the paint color they want, they can't get the carpet they want, it's been lived in, it's got some depreciation in it, it's deteriorated some, it may be just a few years, but it's not brand new. So, I mean, argue with me, it's okay, do you think I'm off base? I mean, do you think?
No, but I just don't understand.
It worked for
how,
us, yeah.
As in your profession, you can
That's a good
add
question
or
I have.
subtract value
That's wonderful.
for your opinion of value of one property, yet somehow you can't do it, not just, I mean, all
Yeah,
right, you
I
can't
understand.
do it if it's the exact same house that's been built, and you've got this other one, let's say the other one actually's been updated as well, but because you see, there's a buyer perception of value that cannot be discounted. And, or in the worst case scenario, as a listing agent, to come up with a valid reason other than, well, you know what? Appraisers, you can't do that because
Yeah.
that's the way appraisers work.
And
My standard line when someone says, well, how come my house does not work? Well, A, it's not as new. B,
Right.
you know, bottom line is appraisers can't, I mean.
there's nothing that says we can't,
And you do sometimes.
and occasionally it does happen,
We've had it.
especially, you know, if you're just talking a couple of years difference, you might. But I will promise you, in every single situation where you have 5, 6, 10-year-old houses in brand new construction in the same neighborhood, I can prove to you, in every situation, those existings will sell for less.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm not saying, that's not the
So
argument.
that's why,
That's not the
that's
argument,
why
Paul.
it is.
The
So
argument
if
that
you
I'm-
use that new construction, then you're going to have to back something out of it.
That's why I'm saying,
Okay.
why can't that be done? I'm not
Oh, it
arguing.
can. Oh, I didn't understand your question.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah, it
arguing
can
that.
be.
I'm just saying,
can
why
be.
can't the new home sale
Yeah.
be used where the appraiser can back out value?
You can.
To bring it down to what that other
You can.
property could actually be worth.
You can, but it's kind of a last resort, because it's just one more adjustment,
But
so.
again,
Let him know
I'm
your
saying that's based on-
adjustment percentage.
I see it all the time.
You can't go above that. Like if your adjustment percentage allowance is 15%, and by doing that, it's 25% difference. That's why you
Good
can't.
news, Fannie Mae did away with that,
They did?
it's gone.
Well, just
On all issues or all adjustments?
for clarity, Paul.
No, he doesn't do
Yeah,
that.
since I'm not just here, everybody say,
That's
yeah,
why
they
I'm
run
here.
this all the time. For clarity, is there
Oh.
a scope from which they can use it, and then what would they then do to help you use it in that situation? I mean, in terms of scope of time.
Taking
per
that
se.
new construction,
If that's what they have to work with, what do they,
Well,
what's the parameter,
it
what do
needs,
they do?
it needs to be a last resort. There's nothing else to work with.
And that's where I'm going. If there's nothing
If
else,
there's
why can't
nothing
that be
else.
used?
They say it can.
It can be.
I've not seen the appraiser yet do it.
No, so to
Well,
Greg's point,
I've done it. Now, and I'm gonna tell you, we have to have at least 3 comps on that appraisal report. Most of the time anymore, we have 4 and 5. If I do it, I won't use more than 1 new construction. Because it is really kind of a different market. And it can get to be a pretty good adjustment, pretty good size. So you just hate having so many big adjustments. It's not as comparable as that existing, but yeah, it can be done.
Okay.
It's okay. You just don't want to abuse it.
But you talked earlier too about how they can provide an appraiser with information that would not be, like, that's not on the MLS. In that situation, there could be stuff with that new house or the existing that he might be aware of,
Could be.
that he could provide you, right?
Right.
And if it's on the buy side, it needs to get out to you somehow, and the same if it's the listing side.
Yeah. But then, I mean, back to your point, if I have an existing house in that kind of neighborhood, the last place I look is the builder. That's just the last place. But it could be that you have to.
Okay,
It could be.
good enough.
At what age does your home become, like, I guess, non-comparable to something that's recently closed in a newer neighborhood? You know, like, if it's a year old, is it no longer comparable to something that closes this month? Or what is that time frame?
The house age or
The house age?
the date of sale?
Well, I guess all we have access to probably is the date of sale, so I would call it out.
Well, on date of sale, you go back, you try not to go back more than 6 months.
Right, but I mean, as far as the adjustment for depreciation on the house or those kinds of things, like if your house is a year old, are you gonna depreciate out like the HVAC system, pool, all that kind of stuff comparable to when it just closed?
That's new construction? Or, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the new construction is going to be a little superior because it doesn't have
Of course,
that
because it doesn't have wear and tear,
depreciation.
but I mean, at what age do you stop even having that as a comparison?
There's no magic, because it kind of gets back to what he's saying. If there is nothing else, then you're stuck.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just stuck.
What if there's something else though that you can use, is a huge change in square footage, 2,000 versus 1,500?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a better comp than the
Probably
difference,
not.
than the difference of age?
Probably not. And I've had those ugly reports out there that I hope never get dug up, where you've got one where you've used new construction against a 10-year-old house, and you've got one with 600 square feet difference as a comp. You know, all your comps have some really big difference in them, and you just get stuck. So it does happen.
So to stay in the neighborhood, you wouldn't adjust the lower square footage to, say I had one that was 2,400 square feet. Everything was like under 17, and then there was one that was like 3,500.
Yeah.
How are you gonna adjust that neighborhood? I mean,
I think I did that one.
I probably did many of them.
I think I did.
You know, so, I mean, you wouldn't adjust to kind of stay in the neighborhood?
Unfortunately, I would go outside the neighborhood for at least 3 of my cells. I'm up to one of those with the really big adjustment, it's number 4 or 5, just to show, you know, the first question that comes up in the underwriter's mind, if they read a report and there's not a single cell in the subdivision, they go, what's wrong with the segment?
I've had
Why-
appraisers tell me I've got to have at least one in
Yeah,
the
you
subdivision.
need one. Because they go, why, you know, why is there nothing in there? Is there a new waste dump next door that everybody's trying to get out? Or, so we have to address that it is a viable subdivision neighborhood. So, yeah, I'm telling you all the can'ts, but then sometimes you just have to. So.
Paul, on that note, when talking about, you know, possible, what could be built around the subdivision, lots themselves, are there, I know what the classic lots are that have more value. Just size of dirt would have more value, but as an appraiser, what lights you up as far as your opinion of value is concerned when you see different types of lots?
You want?
Cul-de-sac,
Yeah, I'm
cul-de-sac,
yeah,
interior corner, I mean, what is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to approach it, not sound too negative. You know, if you back up to a shopping center, probably gets my attention. If you back up to apartment complex that is 3 stories high now, looking back into the freeway. You know, there are lots of negative things. I'm trying to think what would be positive. A little bit larger lot could be, depending on the neighborhood. You know, if you're in a patio home neighborhood and you've got that oddball lot that's a little larger, and it's kind of a retirement type neighborhood, maybe nobody wants that big. They don't want to take care of it. So I'm answering your question kind of in a roundabout way, I hope. It depends on what the market thinks about it. Is that?
So you, as far as valuation is concerned, then a cul-de-sac lot doesn't have more value than just a standard lot in the community?
Not necessarily. No. The builders will charge you a premium.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, you know, my personal point of view on that is that, and I think I know where you're coming from, and probably you guys from here on back would agree, is it matters to the buyer though. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it might be easier to sell and it might be more desirable, but it might.
Attraction, not
Yeah,
value.
exactly.
Sometimes though, there are things that matter to an individual buyer that may not matter to the market as a whole. Or that buyer may really want it, but they may not really be willing to pay any extra for it either.
You know, what's interesting what you just said is that you take what you just said and you go before, let's say an appraisal review board, and they're gonna say, no, your lot is what we appraised it for, which is $120,000, and it has more value than that $90,000 lot over there. And then the exact same side, you go away, say, we live in the same community.
Yeah.
So you see, if I was to take what you just said and put it right in front of an appraisal board, it would be interesting to have you guys have dialogue with each other.
You're talking about for taxing?
Yeah.
Well, those guys have a vested interest in
Well, of
getting
course
it
they
as
do,
high as.
but so do buyers, and
Yeah.
so do sellers.
But I mean, I'll give you an example, and I had this happen recently. Cul-de-sac lot. The front of the lot was so narrow they couldn't even get a double wide driveway in there. The driveway was single wide and then fanned out to get to the 2-car garage. It's a cul-de-sac lot. Nobody wanted it because the front was so skinny. The houses on either side were blocking the view of our house. So it depends. There's so many things. And we're trying to, our job is to figure out what does the market think about that situation. So that's why there's not this checklist for it. Oh, if it's a cul-de-sac, it's this, or if it's apartments, it's that. What does the market think about it? Are there situations where that larger corner lot on the interior corner maybe does add a little bit? Sure. Are there situations where the cul-de-sac adds a little bit? Sure. But you gotta be careful about that. It's not a blanket. Does that, and I know I'm not, you want that checklist. This adds this or that. And it's not that simple. I guess that's what I'm trying to tell you. So that's why some conversation helps.
Oh, we gotta leave early, so let me ask you a question. On selecting your appraisers, can you request from your lenders to have an appraiser local?
Well, I
Rather than
guess you
somebody
can
that's
request
60
as
or-
somebody local.
Yeah.
They should be making sure of that anyway. And local, this kind of gets back to what she asked earlier about geographic competency. Just because I live in Coppell doesn't mean I don't know about Plano.
Right.
So, but I do, that's something you run into with these really big appraisal management companies who do the email blast looking
Right.
for an appraiser. That's where you'll get in trouble.
Well, I just wonder if we could request it, and just give you an example. I saw one that the appraiser come out of Irving,
Mhm.
and when she did the appraisal, of course, no, it didn't work. So we hired another appraiser, and actually it come in pretty close to, the CMAs that we'd already done. But he knew our market and knew our area. The other one was, 80 miles away, and unfortunately didn't. That's why I was wondering if we could just recommend
Yeah.
somebody that's.
What part of town are you in?
We're in East Texas. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, But it's like, I go down to Granbury,
Mhm.
well, it's 60 miles. I know Granbury pretty darn,
Yeah,
I may know
but
too
not-
much
but not
about
everybody
it.
knows two or
So,
three areas.
I may know more than
Yeah.
they want me to know. Sometimes having the appraiser who knows too much about the neighborhood works against you. But, yeah, I mean, if I was out, especially, do you do farm and ranch?
No, she
also?
does, but
Okay.
no.
I was gonna say, you get into that, you really do need to pay attention to who you're getting. I mean, I'm going, Service First was my friend today, but they really do pay attention to who they're sending where. I mean, Melissa does a great, great job of making sure she's got appraisals who know what they're doing, where they're going. They're very good at it.
I know like some of the banks, they said, we've got a list, and we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
and then it starts back over 1, 2, and.
They're supposed to be paying attention, and the appraiser, really, the onus is on me to say whether or not I'm geographically competent.
Mhm.
It's up to me. I
Yeah,
have to
some of these
certify
yahoos won't do that.
that in the appraisal.
Yeah.
Well, and you've got situations, and Paul's alluded to it, where you have large banking organizations that have spectacular vision statements that have nothing to do with what they do,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have online banks that do the same thing. The expertise in this business has coalesced around a mortgage bank like us. My true competitors, I would say, okay, they know what they're doing, would be like Prime Lending, they know what they're doing. Now, within that, there's really great loan officers and really mediocre loan officers as well. And so then you want to find a really, great loan officer and team to work with. But those organizations have a lot, they're going to know what they're doing. That goes back to what I said at the very beginning. I mean,
So
knowing what you guys need, we're doing the best we can under the rules to provide that to you.
And I-
So when they give you the scheduling appointment for the appraiser, and you look down there and say like, okay, I live in Terrell, Texas, and I got one coming out of Fort Worth, can you just say, hey, red flag, I don't know?
No, you can't.
this
He just
person.
provided, let me tell you,
can't.
what if that guy lived there his whole life and moved to Fort Worth 2 years ago?
But then I
What?
know him.
But well, here's my suggestion. You'll know when the appointment's made, you'll see who it is, pick up the phone, call them, quiz them. Just say, hey.
Take him off the porch.
Well, you know what, and I've had it happen
Most of them
before.
are nice.
But just ask, tell me what you know about Terrell. Give me,
Because once the appraisal's made, I mean, it's stuck to the property for 6 months if it's
if it's an
FHA.
FHA, you're right.
And so,
So there's nothing, and if you find out, if it comes out in that conversation that they've never been to Terrell, my next phone call would be my loan officer. And I think that, in your situation, I think Melissa would go, oh shoot, why did they tell us they could do Terrell? And we'll
Right,
fix that.
right.
Yeah, I can't
So,
call the
I don't-
appraiser, but I could email or call her and say, well, there's a concern and here's why. And,
Yeah.
before, I know you guys have to leave. Deborah, could you share in like a 1-minute synopsis, tell everybody what you do before any one of your homes and your team is appraised?
I'm a contract coordinator for the O'Gorman Group with Evie Halliday, and I was just going to say, one of the things that we have set up in place is no appraisal gets scheduled unless it's through our office. We don't have CSS making our appointments. And so therefore, I talk to almost every appraiser that is going to do an appraisal for our listings. And so what we do is, when they call in, we say, okay, we'd like to send you some information about our houses. And so we do send them a survey, an affidavit, the contract, if they don't have it. Most of the time, like you said, they already have the contract. Square footage differential, if we've got a different square footage on the web, on the
Right.
MLS. We send them our brochure, which is pretty extensive. A lot of our homes are, higher end homes. So we try to give you as much information
You
as we
do.
can. If we have a multiple offer situation, we've never sent the offers. We've never been asked for that. But we do tell you that we have multiple offers. And, anything that I can provide to that appraiser to make it easier for him, that's what we do.
Yeah, you do.
When we
I
try
mean,
our
I
best to
mentioned
get
Kurt Bueller earlier, but y'all do just about the
Yeah.
same thing. Cindy does a great job.
And
Y'all
think
do
about
a
how
great
easy it be, hey guys,
Thank you so much.
Another point.
Yeah, no,
Thank
enjoy
you,
it.
Bill.
Think about how easy it would be to simply have a system, right? That when you're preparing your properties, for even listing presentation, and then actual listing, that just part of that system is you just keep the document, sort of build a little file, scan it as a PDF, and then
updates.
Yeah.
If there's any updates that person has done, new carpet, new roof, whatever. I was gonna ask, because I have one right now that I just had to lower the price because they have a wood shake roof, and of course, people can't get insurance.
Right.
So, we kinda knew that when we took the listing, that it was gonna be an issue. So when I send that information to the appraiser, I wanna make sure that he knows that we reduced that price because we're basically paying for a new roof.
Right. And on the opposite side of that, I've had them where there's the wood shake roof, but they're going to put a composition shingle roof on there prior to closing, but it's not in the contract, and I have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
And then they're upset
Right.
about the value. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that?
Well, we reduced,
Yeah,
so
yeah, you went the
I
other way
want
with
you to
it.
know that
But
we
y'all
reduced
do,
because
y'all
of.
do a very good job.
If you send your information to an appraiser and they say, forget it, I don't want to see it, I'm not going to open it, what's your reaction?
Yeah, I've never had that happen. I've had them say to me that they don't need comps because they can pull their own comps, and
Yeah.
most of the time when they do that, just a little arrogance involved there, and I try to
Listen,
counteract that.
I mean, I will stand here and tell you, the best thing about an appraiser is the worst thing about an appraiser. We're very independent. So,
So are realtors.
yeah, they need me to be independent.
Yeah.
We're just a bunch of crotchety old guys. I mean, we are. There, I said it. I didn't even say crotchety, I said crotchety.
you haven't admitted it, man. You
But-
gotta, it's only 10%.
But that's why,
They're really nice.
but that's why I say, just email that. You've
Yeah.
got their email, just
Right.
email them. They can hit delete. You don't have to have the conversation.
Well, they have to call us to make the appointment.
Yeah, with you, they have to call you. I know.
And it
I
makes
know.
it nice though,
And
because
you know
get to
what?
talk to them.
I think that that's a good way to do it. I will confess, I love CSS because I can just click on their thing and
Yeah, they
set
get
up
a
their
little
appointment, and
annoying
here I go.
sometimes. They gotta talk
But,
to me.
you're adding some value to your service.
What's your feeling of having the homeowner or seller following you around during the appraiser?
It's fine with me.
Would you listen to them?
I'll listen, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine. Who knows more about that house
That's
than
right.
that seller?
Yeah.
Now, maybe to your dismay,